How's my pose so far?
Dale, Hillary.
Left arm a little higher. Okay, and
Higher.
3, 2.
Okay, ladies, we've been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work with vulnerability and with honesty. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the blue crystal. Has anybody ever heard of the blue crystal?
No.
Okay, great. Well, the blue crystal is, so to speak, what kryptonite is for Superman. Anyone want to elaborate what they feel that that means to them? What do you know about kryptonite and what do you know about Superman?
It's the thing that'll break him.
Exactly. And so that's weakness. And our weakness has a tendency to overcompensate or avoid. And in order for you to first be able to identify anything that could possibly be your weakness, you must be able to first search inside and see what it is that's holding you stuck. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for you to all take from this bag your own blue crystal. And I'd like for you to hold it because it's supposed to represent the depth that you need to be able to go, just like water represents depth. And so while you're holding that, please think, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine the very thing that has brought you to the place of where you are today. So go ahead, Tati. Karen,
I have to pick one. Anyone I want.
anyone you want.
I like that one.
Deborah, Sasha, Victoria, and Hillary, your blue crystal has chosen you.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. Okay, so what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to hold your crystal and truly think about the weakness, the protectiveness that you may be putting on, the armor every day, either perfectionism, whether it's food and numbing agents, social media escapes, whether it's addictions, whether it's negative thoughts, whether it's a certain role that you have to carry. Think about all of that. And what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to discuss, each one of you with me, the actual weakness that has brought you to this very place. So we can start with Hillary.
Ooh, the weakness that has brought me to this place. I'm not sure what you mean. Like,
Tell me what specifically gets you to a place where you find yourself stuck and unproductive. Sometimes it might be negative thoughts perseverating in your mind. Sometimes it might be certain images that get stuck or certain memories or experiences. But there is something that holds you and controls you and doesn't allow you to be able to control it. And the only way that you can do that is first finding out what that weakness is that you have so we can strengthen it.
I think probably a negative body image,
Okay,
and I feel like that's hindered me from achieving the goals that I have,
okay,
you know, and being uncomfortable in my own skin. And it's been a challenge because I feel like I know better, you know, and I have a lot of the tools that can help to overcome that, but I'm just stuck there, you
And-
know?
With the weakness of body image, do you feel that with some of the perspectives that you have with body image and some of the training that you're going to be able to get with the trainers and the nutritionists and some of this life coaching, that that will be able to help you take a leap from taking control over that weakness?
I think so. Maybe giving up that control, the control of the image that I have of
You
my
talk
body.
about a great point about letting go.
Yeah, just letting go of what my perception is of how I look. I feel like I've had a distorted body image for so long, either seeing myself as too big or too smaller than I actually am. So it's been both sides of the spectrum. And I think that not focusing so much on the appearance of it and more so the health.
I definitely hear a lot of expectations need to be definitely reevaluated, looking at the true facts of what you bring to the table and making sure that you're not disregarding the positive and disregarding the aspects of you that are incredible and that have really been able to bring you to the positive part of why you are here and where you are today, and especially in the role as a mother, which I know is very important to you.
Very important. And I don't want to pass that down to them.
Exactly.
Because I do the opposite. I try to encourage them and, you know, compliment them and, you know, make sure that they know that their external appearance does not affect you know, their true nature and their true self. So I think I need to start practicing what I preach.
Well, and the other thing too, I want you guys to know, and I speak a lot about making sure that you see that there's always a positive when there's a negative. And this blue crystal does represent weakness, but at the same time, it's for your ability to see it and to take control over this so that you can use this more as a strength. So I don't want you to see when you have this crystal in your pocket, I don't want you to think of it as there's a weakness in your pocket, that this is the very skill that you need to stop and take a break so that you can gain control and can gain strength. Because we also know that in those moments when you are finding yourself weak, that if we actually just distract ourselves and delay, then you can be able to decide and make a different decision. Anybody over here want to share a little bit about their blue crystal, their weakness?
I actually, when you asked the question, the first thing, I immediately thought of something that I hadn't thought of before. And when I was 34 years old, when my daughter was born, that was because of my age and because I just had another baby. My career and where I wanted to be, I wasn't there. And I think ever since then, I've just started like eating.
And do you see any kind of correlation to what that behavior is with what it is that you're missing?
You mean the
Filling the void.
Yeah, I think I think it's just like numbing the pain of not being where I want to be.
And so the strength that you need to be able to control that, what do you see in your life today that could be helpful for you to start being able to be stronger and not allow yourself to get to that point where you're so weak?
You mean the things I can do? I can definitely, well, we've talked about gratitude before, which
Yes.
is, for me is huge. Writing everything every day that I'm appreciative of and grateful for has been a big help for me. And that tends to help my focus be more on things that are positive. So that works.
And I think also just from, again, behind the scenes when we've shared conversations, a lot of you putting time in for you and giving your mind a break has been very helpful and very beneficial.
Right.
So being able to use that and couple that with the piece that you weren't able to do what you needed to do at that time will also help give you the control that you need and give you that strength.
Right.
Anybody else? Tati?
I think it's more than one thing for me. At the beginning, I would say that I was the opposite of, I wasn't self-conscious. I was always very secure of myself. So I keep putting on the weight because I could still do whatever I wanted and still feel good about myself. So maybe overconfidence, it's a thing. And the other thing is procrastination. I would leave everything for, I'll start next Monday, or I'll do it later, or there's always time, I'm still young, let me enjoy life. So procrastination was taking a lot of things from my life because I've done it. And I mean, now that I'm a little more mature and I've grown up, now that I realize that that's taken away from my life, that I've managed it. And also I find comfort in food. So every time I would feel down or I will feel unhappy, food will give me that comfort, and it's momentary, but I mean, I'm here because I really enjoy food, and it brings me to a happy place for a moment. When nothing else is going right, I just eat something and it makes me happy. So.
Well, what I hear is about that procrastination piece, which is a behavior, and that's caused by an underlying emotion. And that underlying emotion is usually based on fear, and that fear is related to avoiding commitment. And what you're allowing yourself is to be able to be just satisfied with just the short-term goal, and that's just that immediate gratification of what that food offers. But the long-term goal is what you're not able to see and what you're not able to experience. So your self-worth and be able to commit to that length of time.
Now it's different because now I have a vision of the future and I'm taking charge of things as of now. But before, I mean, this is not a month thing. This has been me putting on the weight for years. And just being comfortable, because I would feel comfortable and I always say I would put a pair of high heels and feel comfortable and walk down and I own this, and at one moment you realize that this is not who you are anymore. So I think that I look one way, but I'm another person on the inside. So my body doesn't show who I really am.
Well, I think that blue crystal is also just a representation, you holding in your hand the bravery and the courage to share what you just shared based on the feeling that it was important for you to be able to be a certain way before, and now you're being as vulnerable and opening that up. And the more vulnerable that you all are, the more you will see come to you with good experiences, and you'll have more of the ability to be positive if you allow yourself to be as open and genuine. So for all of you, what I would like for you to do is take it a step further. I want you now not only to just be able to identify what it is that got you here, but what responsibility do you actually take in where you are today and why you are here. So I want to hear a little bit more about from you. What responsibility are you able to say and acknowledge and put out there?
Well, happiness is a lifelong journey, and through the years, it's becoming comfortable within our own skin. And I think we all have like different issues that we're battling, and food has always been the easy way out. But not only that, just our insecurities, whether it's with our jobs or careers or whatever we're doing. And being a part of this here is just trying to get out what's within to become the happiest person we can be. And it's always going to be a journey, whether when this ends or when everything ends. It's always a process, and we have to look within ourselves before we can look anywhere else.
So what responsibility have you been able to see that you can now let go, that got you here, that got you stuck, that you can let go to be able to move forward?
Forgiveness. I think that's the biggest thing that I held on to everybody that destroyed me. And instead of letting it go for myself, because I can blame them, but they're living their lives and having a great life and moving forward when I'm here stuck in the same position. And just letting it, releasing it into the universe, whether they care or not, it's for me. And I'm just moving forward and not letting that hold me back anymore. I know for me, this is a big chapter in my life and a new year, and I'm hitting a different decade in my life, and I'm ready for the changes, and I want a new career path. I just want to find a new me, and I've learned so much about myself that I'm ready to explore different things now that I understand myself better.
That's all excellent. And what I love is hearing so many of those verbs in those sentences because, you know, a lot of times we hear things about what we can see and what we talk about, but we don't really talk about what we are going to do. So one thing I want you to really think about is putting the words "I will" in your sentences so that you know at the end of the day that there's not a weakness that's going to hold you back, because you will take control of this, or you will ask for forgiveness, or you will move on, or you will let go.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I have the cowboy hat. You won the draw.
Well, I mean, I think in my battles of being an island, because I've made myself an island, and it all came out of sort of blinded, one-focused determination for success, and you know, all the steps along the way. You know, when you're young, it's very admirable. You're like, I have a goal, and people support that, and you're like, and then I can see the goal, and then I'm kind of like, I'm going to get to the goal, and now I'm 40 and I'm successful, and all those years I ignored all the other important things that make me a whole person, and now I'm an island and I hide everything behind capability. I mean, and you and I talked about this, is that and this whole group of people that have had to get to know me in this short amount of time. And what I do is, as soon as I'm in a group, I think nobody in the world's going to want to talk to me, so the best thing I can do is be super, super capable, and I'm going to try to lead the group. And I'm going to say, okay, I know how to get from here to here, and I can help you, and I can do this, and then I kind of affix myself, and I make myself a fixture, and then as a fixture, I belong, but then I don't allow myself to actually belong, and then I wind up, you know, when everybody goes home at night, or, you know, when it's work and, you know, family and all this other kind of stuff, you go, okay, well, I'm still an island. And then everyone also people go, well, she really doesn't need my help. She's so darn capable. She's so darn capable that she doesn't need me. And so then,
being vulnerable.
What's that?
You're not being vulnerable.
No.
That's the thing. It's a perception. You might look like you're not vulnerable,
Right.
but deep down inside, because it happens to me too. I look like a strong girl, and I But deep down inside, nobody knows what really is inside everybody's
and that's
heart.
the armor that we put on. Putting on that armor helps us avoid, or again, it can look like overcompensating. But I'd love to be able to share a very wise quote that I heard about perfectionism. And perfectionism is really when you have shame riding along shotgun with you, and fear is your backseat driver. Because you're avoiding criticism, you're avoiding ridicule, and you're doing everything that you need to do so that nobody can say anything to you. So it becomes this image and this role that you need to try to portray and to try to be in. And it has worked because it's brought you success in the areas of goal-oriented tasks that have an outcome not based on emotion. But when you're truly looking at what it is that truly brings us happiness, it's making sure that happiness is the way, and that the way isn't happiness. So we can't attach our goals to people and to things. What we have to be able to do is attach our goal to ourselves and what it is that we desire, and look at the emotions at the end of the day that we're trying to be able to feel. And so with vulnerability and with identifying your weakness, and then taking responsibility for where you are and what it is that you need to do from literally from the moment this group is finished. What can you do to start working on overcoming the stuckness? You hold on to that stone and you immediately become in productive mode. And that is how you start your journey on finding your happiness, by finding that mindfulness to say, wait a second, I'm taking a 2-second break here and I really need to think about this a step further. Am I being productive in this decision? Am I truly thinking about what is holding me back? Or am I just thinking about what it is that I want? I look forward to working with you girls, continuing our individual sessions, our group sessions, and hearing about your process and journey along the way.